The Zephyrian High Council gathered in their crystalline chamber, their elongated forms casting ethereal shadows across the polished floors. Admiral Kethvar's 3 eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he reviewed the tactical display hovering before them. "The primitive species of Terra 3 has been contained," he announced, his voice resonating through the chamber's acoustic enhancers. "Their crude vessels pose no threat to our expansion fleet." The humans had fought valiantly. Kethvar admitted internally. Their ships, though laughably inferior to Zephyrian technology, had shown unexpected tactical flexibility. But primitive kinetic weapons and fusion drives could never match plasma cannons and quantum fold drives. The siege of Earth's outer colonies had lasted mere cycles. "What of their surrender terms?" inquired Counselor Velthara, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with curiosity. "They refuse," Kethvar replied, with what humans might have recognized as a smirk. "They demand we withdraw from their territory entirely. Amusing, considering their entire military fleet couldn't breach a single one of our shield matrices." 3 parsecs away, aboard the battered human dreadnought Indomitable, Admiral Sarah Chen stared at the tactical display with grim determination. The Zephyrian blockade was absolute. 17 human colonies had fallen in the past month, their populations relocated to processing centers. "Ma'am," her communications officer called out, "the Zephyrians are hailing us again." On screen, the aliens' aristocratic features materialized before them, radiating condescension. "Admiral Chen, your species' resistance grows tiresome. Accept relocation to the designated sectors, and your people will be treated with appropriate dignity." Chen's jaw tightened. "Counterproposal. Pack up your ships and get the hell out of our space." Kethvar's translator struggled with the human idiom, but his meaning was clear enough. "Your bravado is noted, but ultimately meaningless. You possess nothing that can threaten us." "We'll see about that." Chen cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "Initiate Protocol 7. The bridge fell silent. Protocol 7 wasn't discussed in military academies or war colleges. It existed in classified files so black that most admirals would die without knowing it existed. But humanity had learned painful lessons throughout its violent history. They understood that survival sometimes demanded unthinkable choices. "Ma'am," the tactical officer whispered, "are you certain? Once we begin, there's no stopping it." Chen nodded grimly. "Send the activation codes to all remaining vessels. Full implementation." Across human space, hidden within the hulls of every military vessel, civilian transport, and deep space mining ship, microscopic devices began to activate. The Zephyrians had scanned every human craft thoroughly, finding only primitive technology. They had missed the organic components, seemingly inert biological matter that registered as simple carbon-based waste. The first sign something was wrong came when Zephyrian crews began reporting minor equipment malfunctions. Sensors flickered. Life support systems experienced brief interruptions. Shield generators momentarily destabilized. Within the biological waste aboard human vessels, something ancient stirred. Humanity's darkest weapon wasn't nuclear fire or antimatter bombs. It was something far more insidious. Something that had nearly destroyed their own species millennia ago. A synthetic plague, engineered with Earth's most advanced biotechnology, capable of adapting to any alien physiology it encountered. The old pathogen had been dormant, waiting. Now it awakened, transmitted through the quantum communication channels the Zephyrians used to coordinate their fleet. Every data packet carried invisible death. Every sensor sweep spread the contagion further. Kethvar first noticed the illness as a slight disorientation during a tactical briefing. By the next cycle, his bioluminescent patches had begun to dim. By the third cycle, Zephyrian medical officers were reporting system-wide infection rates, approaching 90%. "What have you done?" Kethvar's voice cracked as he appeared on Chen's view screen, his once pristine features now showing signs of rapid biological breakdown. "What we had to," Chen replied, her expression devoid of satisfaction. "This is what desperation looks like, Admiral. This is what happens when you threaten the survival of our species." You're monsters," Kethvar gasped, his 3 eyes now dulled with fever. "This weapon, it will kill millions." "Billions, actually," Chen corrected. "It's self-replicating, adaptive, and designed to spread through any contact with Zephyrian technology. Your entire fleet is infected. Your homeworld will be infected within days through your quantum communication networks." The truth was more horrifying than Kethvar could comprehend. Humanity had spent centuries perfecting biological warfare, then abandoning it in horror at their own creation. They had sealed away weapons that could extinguish entire biospheres, swearing never to use them. But when faced with extinction, old promises meant nothing. "There must be a cure," Kethvar pleaded. "Some way to stop this." Chen was quiet for a long moment. "There is. We developed countermeasures along with the weapon. We're not genocidal monsters, Admiral. We're survivors." "What do you want?" "Complete withdrawal from human space, guarantee of non-interference with our colonies, and recognition of humanity's sovereignty over our territory." Chen's voice grew harder. "Refuse, and we let the pathogen run its course. Your choice." Kethvar looked at his dying bridge crew, at the medical reports flooding his screens, at the tactical display showing system-wide biological collapse across his fleet. The primitive species had done something his advanced civilization couldn't comprehend. They had weaponized extinction itself. I accept your terms," he whispered. Within hours, the Zephyrian fleet was in full retreat. Within days, the first countermeasure shipments arrived at their border worlds. The pathogen was contained, its spread halted just short of reaching the Zephyrian homeworld. The galaxy took notice. The primitive species of Terra 3 had done more than survive. They had revealed a capacity for warfare that chilled even the most militaristic civilizations. Humanity wasn't just another emerging species to be conquered or absorbed. They were something far more dangerous, a species that had stared into the abyss of their own destructive potential and emerged willing to use it. In the aftermath, as human colonies rebuilt and expanded, Ambassador Chen, promoted from her military rank, met with the first alien diplomats brave enough to request formal contact. They came bearing gifts, treaties, and trade agreements, but mostly they came with respect, because across the galaxy, one truth had become clear: never underestimate a species that had learned to weaponize their own nightmares. The age of human expansion had begun,